very warm welcome to a evening which hopefully we will feel nice and cool after. If you may recall, Wednesday evenings are also youngsters' night at the club. So perhaps we will have a feel of being young at heart for sure, and bring that spirit of and the gaiety which we have at the club on youngsters' night. So, warm welcome. And today's session, as Raj has just told you about, and you are aware, is about cocktail making. However, just 1 minute I will take to recap about what happened yesterday. Yesterday, we had a session which was on succession planning, about will, about private estate, about private trust. It was a serious topic. Um, Many of the members enjoyed it, learned a lot from it, gained from it, and we're very happy that the club was able to facilitate a session like that. Uh, it is our endeavor to make members, to bring to members things which they will learn, which they will find useful. And I think cocktail making right now, when we are still in quasi lockdown mode, is going to bring some sort of cheer to some of us, or let's say to quite a few of us. And I would like to introduce our mixologist for this evening. His name is Ankur Chawla. We are very lucky to have Ankur here because he is one of the top mixologists of India. Normally, we would say a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, but since we are on Zoom, we can't have that. But Ankur, warm welcome to you. In addition to being a mixologist, he's also an expert on beverages. He has been associated with the hotel and the hospitality industry for over decades, and he's worked at Taj and JW Marriott, among other places. He's also a speaker on TED Express, and he speaks at various institutes about beverage and about cocktails. So a warm welcome to you, Ankur. But before we start the session with you, I would also like to welcome Mohit Balachandran. Mohit, if you could just make yourself visible and say hello to our viewers, that we'd appreciate that. He is the Chief Business Officer of Eazydiner. Eazydiner is the company which is sponsoring the event this evening. Mohit, can we have your visual, please? Could you say hello? Yeah, okay. If you say something, then we will have a speaker's view, but...
Yeah, maybe wave a little bit to the crowd.
Hi, Mohit. Nice to see you in person. Welcome. I would also like to say thank you to Deepika Mohil from Eazydiner for making all this possible. Eazydiner, as some of you may know, is one of India's largest premier restaurant reservation platform. So this is a place where you go for reservations, and I'm sure some of you must have definitely tried it. I have for sure, and I have found it to be very useful. They have great deals with more than 8,000 plus restaurants and hotels across India and Dubai. Diner Prime is their premier dining program, which guarantees a discount of 25% across many restaurants and hotels. Mohit, I would like you to say a few words before we get Ankur to create the magic this evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sanjana, and good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I've known Ankur for many years, and he's a fabulous mixologist, a great bartender. Eazydiner is a restaurant reservation platform, but these are unprecedented times for all of us. The world around us has changed. So we were never into deliveries, but what we've done is, given the current situation of today, launched a new feature for takeaways and deliveries for only the good restaurants. So if there is a quality restaurant and a restaurant that we feel that has safety standards, we will onboard them on Eazydiner, and these will be available for delivery and for takeaway. What we're doing for all Vasant Vihar Club members is we're giving you access to our premium dining program, which is called Prime, which gives you 25% discount across more than 2,000 restaurants across India. Also, some of the top 5 stars restaurants in Delhi are part of this. Of course, now there's lockdown and not all of them are open, but they will open up over a due course of time. Till then, it's the delivery and the takeaway feature that is there. I'll now let Ankur take over and show us the drinks that he's planned for all of us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mohit. Ankur, over to you.
So firstly, good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining in. I'll straight away dive into the mixology world. Of course, we all are over here to see a few cocktails being made, but I don't want to keep it very formal. With all due respect, I don't want to be Mr. Sanjeev Kapoor saying a lot of things, and I would want to keep it very interactive. I would want to keep it a fun-loving evening sort of session. Not very technical, but if you want, we can get into technicalities. But let's just keep it very, fun-loving sort of session. To begin with, I would go and show you a little bit of, what are the kind of bar tools that you can have at your home, since everybody's at home right now making cocktails. Then we will make 3 different cocktails.
Your image, we can't see you. We just have your profile.
I am logged in on 2 different accounts. One is the phone and one is the this thing.
May I make a suggestion? Everyone can pin Ankur's video. If you pin it, then you will be able to see this video.
Yeah. It's just that I am a little technologically challenged. So I'm making sure everybody is feeling the same way. Otherwise, I'll feel really bad.
You just have to pin.
Sanjana, it's okay because, the audio on his other device was not coming out well. So fine. Yeah, he's there.
One second.
Yeah, this is my video, guys. This is my video. You can, pin it right on top. Can you see me all?
Yes, better.
No, we can see him, but the audio is
Yeah,
not
okay,
good on
fine.
that.
It's okay. We'll see you later. So
I
carry
think-
on as you were. It's
I
better.
think what he did earlier was the right combo.
Perfect. Is it fine now?
Yes.
Done. Cool. So I'll begin with straight into the session. So as I said, we'll start with the introduction of few bar tools that we need to have at our houses, particularly at the house bar. And some of them are very important. Some of them are to, of course, show off, which is what a lot of us want to do when we have guests at home. And then we'll dive into 3 different cocktails that we'll be making for the evening. And then, or during the session also, we can keep it very open for a question answer sort of round. Yeah. Cool. So to begin with, I will rather show you over here. One of the most important tools that we have over here is this shaker. So it's a 2-piece shaker, normally also known as a tin shaker or a 2-piece shaker as it is, usually used to, shake the drinks. Normally, I would add the big one would be used for topping up, and the small one to add a lot of ingredients. And you can top it up. You can kick it a little or hit it a little hard. After which there's a vacuum that gets made right in the middle, and then either you can shake it up and down so that the ice can go up and down and really chill the dill. The normal thumb rule is that more the ice, less the dilution. So I would normally use bigger cubes of ice so that the dilution is a little lesser. And the other way to do it is when you want the drinks to be rolled on, specifically once with the egg white or once with the pineapple juice. So in that, the movement of the shaker goes a little up and down. What that does is that it incorporates a lot of air, because of which the drink's frothiness comes out really, really well, or the head or the froth comes out really well. There are 2 or 3 different types of shakers that we have in the market, but normally there are 2 pieces. At the house, you can also use this kind of shaker, which is again a 2-piece. However, it is not a tin shaker. It is more a Japanese style shaker that could easily be used as well. And of course, then they have very small shakers which are used for single martinis or or a table side served martinis. Then we have a mixing glass. A mixing glass is nothing. It is, as the name suggests, it is a mixing glass. Normally used for cocktails or drinks like Negronis and stuff, wherein you just have to stir the drink along with the ice cube. Now, there are a lot of, going in a little bit of technicalities, there are a lot of different books who mention how many times does the movement has to happen. It could happen anywhere between 30 to almost 65 to 70 times, depending on the kind of drink that you want, or depending on how chilled the drink that you are looking at. Then, of course, you have different peg measures. That's peg measure 3060. That's a little tall one, again 3060. That's the classic one, again 3060.
Ankur, sorry to disturb you again, but I think it would be nicer if we have the image, because you're showing things. It would be better if you see what you're showing.
My image is actually coming on the others.
No. Ankur, you have to turn the angle of your camera, because only the top half is visible and not where your action is.
Is it visual now?
Yeah, this is visible.
Perfect.
Yeah. So show everything on the camera when you're talking about it.
There you go. Shaker?
No, I think you have to unmute this speaker. Only then the image will be picked up. Sorry. Yeah.
No worries.
No, we can hear him clearly. I think he has to just focus the camera on his table where he's keeping the things.
Yeah.
It's fine, actually. It's perfectly all right. You can, from horizontal, maybe you can make it vertical. That's all.
1 second.
Okay, let's see, Ankur.
Is it better?
Yeah. But, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Sure.
Perfect. So that's done. Then you have the three different kinds of
Peg measures, which again are 3060. These days, there are a lot of different peg measures which have started coming in 45 and 15 as well, purely because a lot of people are getting into cocktails, and now the peg measures or the sizes have become a little different to make it a little more fancier, but you can easily go with 3060 right now. Then you have something known as muddler. The one thing that the muddler is used most for in India is, of course, a kick-ass mojito. We were discussing yesterday. It's majorly used for mojito or sort of muddling anything that you want the flavors to come out for. Bar spoons. There you go. So that's a simple classic bar spoon. One side is this, one side is just a top point.
Cannot hear.
Now we can't hear you. Some change has been made.
Yes.
Previously it was loud and clear.
You'll have to unmute your phone then.
Yes, is it better?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is perfect.
Yes, that's
Okay, and this is a new style or a new age bar spoon, wherein one side is the spoon, the other side is a fork, and fork is majorly used for picking up the garnishes and stuff like that. Normally the bar spoon is used for a lot of things, but majorly for the action that we do while stirring the cocktail with a lot of ice. And then of course you have the regular strainer that we also use it at house, or the Hatron, which is also used majorly for the drinks, which we'll be using today as well. This is a little flashy one, but there's one that comes with a handle that can also be used. Yeah, I think we're good with the bar tools. Any questions with the bar tools? Perfect. Okay, so first cocktail that we'll be making for the evening is a white wine sangria, in which we have given a little twist and be using the flavors of lemongrass and basil. What I've done for lemongrass is that I could not find lemongrass today, so I have made a small little syrup of lemongrass that I'm using for the evening. But if you have the lemongrass, nothing like it, you can take the fresh flavors out as well. With regards to sangria, of course, we start with a white wine glass. I would add a few cubes of ice. any kind of sangria that you're making, the best way to make a sangria is either steep overnight with the fruits and whatever flavors that you want, or put it on a pan and make it. Right now, we're just making a sangria of the bar, which is what I think a lot of people want to do, or they do it. We picked up a white wine. I picked up a Chenin Blanc from Fratelli. Normally, I would suggest you to pick up any wine which has got the most fruit flavors that are coming out. So a Pinot Grigio or a Chenin Blanc are the two wines that I usually pick up for a white wine sangria. Repeating it again, either a Pinot Grigio or a Chenin Blanc. These are the two wines that I normally pick up for a white wine sangria. If you're making a red wine sangria, I would normally pick up a Merlot because that works really, really well. Perfect. Though you can, freely pour it as well, but normally a 45 to 50 ml pour is what we'll be doing of a white wine.
Ankur,
yeah,
members can't see you doing what you're doing. The screen is too small. How can we resolve this matter?
Actually, what happens is if you take speaker view, you can see the.
Yeah, that might be better to do. Yeah.
No, but the thing is that he's speaking from a different device, and that device doesn't have his video. So that's.
I'm just sorting that out. I will try to carry on my phone itself.
Yes.
Muting both of these devices.
Yeah.
There you go. Is that better?
Yes. You may just have to lean forward and speak into that. So that's it. Yeah, that's much better. At least we can see what you're doing.
Yeah. No, I get your point.
Yeah.
So sorry for the technical issues. There you go. Is it better?
Yes. Much better.
Perfect. So yeah, so we're using about 45 ml of the white wine sangria. I've just added a little more than 45. Keep it about 50. In a sangria, you can do a lot of things. You could, add, of course, a lot of fruits. Normally, in a classic sangria, you add a little bit of brandy to give it a kick. Brandy, why not any other spirit? Is because brandy is also made with the grapes as a base. It is a spirit, but the base is grape, and so is the white wine sangria. But there are a lot of people who want to spike it up with a vodka or any other spirit as well. However, the best thing to do is to add a little bit of going through or any other orange liqueur that you find. So I'm adding a little bit, about 15 ml of going through in the same. Now, in order to give a little flavor of lemongrass, here I have just made this concoction, which is a lemongrass concoction. All I did was I just took some lemongrass, boiled it out along with a lot of water and a little bit of sugar to it, so that the liquid is something that has come out. Depending on how strong is the concoction, I would add that. Then I just plugged these beautiful leaves, basil leaves. Again, you could do this. You could also add a little bit of concoction of basil as well. Normally, any leaf that you're adding, to any cocktail, be it mint, be it basil, be it any leaf, always give a tap to the beet, just because it opens up the flavors and it releases a lot of flavors. And whenever you add the thing, always give it a small stir so that you get the flavors out.
Excuse me, what do I do? Fresh lemon grass.
What is it, ma'am?
I have fresh lemongrass.
That is perfect. All you can do is, again, give it a little tap, put it in the glass or in the shaker and give it a little muddle so that the flavors can come out.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Perfect. So the basil is done, this is done. Again, depending completely on the season, depending completely on the availability, you could add a little bit of orange juice as well, if in case you want to. I had a little bit of mango juice that I diluted, which is behind the camera.
Mango is sweet. Mango is for the next one.
Could I request you all to mute your camera, microphone? Dear, please mute
The
your.
audio is not so clear again now. Have you muted one of the cameras, Ankur?
Is the audio better now?
Yeah, the audio is fine. The audio is fine. Yeah. It's good.
Yeah, perfect.
It was a little-
I think,
Anyway, let's see it.
Ankur, the other device, the bigger one that you were using earlier, usko band hi kar do, because now both your audio and video are visible from the phone. Just stick to that and show more of your table. So because some people can't see what you are doing on the table.
Right away, sir. There you go.
Yeah,
1 second.
I think it looks better now.
Is it better?
Yes, we can see the table, we can see you, we can hear you. शक्ल ना भी दिखे तो कोई बात नहीं, हाथ दिखने चाहिए, क्या कर?
इतनी कोई खूबसूरत भी नहीं है सर. It's absolutely fine. Perfect. Done. So I am adding a little bit of mango juice that I had taken out and diluted. So just about 30 ml of mango juice is what I'm adding right now, just to make it a lemongrass, basil, and mango. You can add orange juice. You can add, a little splash of, soda as well, which we could also do. There you go.
So how do you make the mango juice? Is it mango pulp which you dilute?
Yeah, mango pulp you dilute, but the juice that you get just with the mango pulp is obviously very viscous. So I normally dilute it with either water, and that's probably the best.
Okay.
But again, if you're not diluting the mango juice, then of course add a little less and top it up with the soda. You can again top it up with the wine as well, depending if it is a Sunday or Monday. There you go. Giving it a little stir again. If you want, you can add a little more of ice, but your drink is ready. Normally, if I had lemongrass, which I believe somebody has it over here, you can just throw a lemongrass as well, and you're good to go. Cheers.
Thank you. That looks very nice. Very cool.
Yeah. Again, I would always suggest to play around as much as possible. Don't restrict yourself with the ingredients or with the technical books and terms. Normally, whenever I try to make a new cocktail or I try to innovate, I keep a lot of ingredients in front of me and I just do mix and match. And in simple classic cocktails, giving it a twist is the best. So the first cocktail is lemongrass, mango, and sangria with a hint of basil to it. Yeah. Any questions? Anything that comes to the mind? Anything that you feel I'm missing? I can add on for the next cocktail. No.
Just wanted to know that sangria normally has a lot of fruit cut and put into it. So you've not done that. You've just taken the fruit juice.
Sorry, Laura?
Sangria, generally what I have always known is that they put a lot of chopped fruit, different types of fruit like apple and various other ones, kiwi or something like that.
Yeah.
So, but you have not added any chopped fruit.
Yeah.
You've added only fruit juice. Is that okay? That's it?
So we had to give the flavor of lemongrass and basil, which is what we replaced the fresh fruits with. But you're free to do. So that's what I'm saying. A classic sangria would have a lot of fruits, but this one we have done a little twist. So we've just added the lemongrass and basil. The reason I added a little more of mango juice instead of regular orange is because basil and mango goes really well. Otherwise, you're free to do, you're free to play around with many flavors.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, the next cocktail that we're making is a margarita. In the margarita, what we are doing, we are adding again a little bit of mango and a little bit of chili, green chili, which we have. Perfect. So I did not have the margarita glass right now. I had this fancy martini glass, which I think can be done, which can be also used. Now, a lot of people ask me the questions about rimming. If you want, we can do the rim. If you want, we do not do the rims, depending completely on what you want. In fact, the best thing when you're doing, any margaritas at your houses is to rim the glasses with new age salts. And those kind of salts can be done at home. So for instance, if really given a choice, If I'm using a mango juice in anything, I can also rim the glass with either amchur or kala namak, but I can go as fancy, wherein I can make in-house wasabi salt and I can play around with that as well. I can put a little bit of truffle oil to the salt, keep it out, under the sun for about an hour or two, and take it out, dry it out. You can add a truffle oil on your regular martini, margaritas, and stuff like that as well. Yeah. So nothing, but you just have to, sort of give a little bit of lime touch to the glass, and then to the salt. Whenever you're adding salt, you just make sure it is very, very clean. Always give it a little tap so that the salt, the extra salt comes down, and the one that's left gives a very clean sort of image to the glass. Whenever you're making margaritas and or using these kind of glasses, always put a couple of cubes of ice before and chill the glass. You could add a little bit of water so that the glass remains chilled, and you prepare the glass first and foremost. Now coming to the cocktail. Take out the shaker, try to add the ingredients in the smaller one. Again, you can do a bigger one as well, but normally a smaller one is easier to hold. It gets the ingredients right, and the ice can be topped up, so it can be worked well. For a margarita, the first thing that we do is a tequila. I have this cute bottle of tequila, which I also wanted to try. So, depending how strong or how classic you want to go, classic recipe would have 45 ml. You can go a little more than 45 ml as well, in case you're not adding any other flavor, or in case you're making a regular classic margarita. So here I've added a little bit of about 45 ml of tequila. Then I would need a bit of lime juice.
What is this 45 ml of what?
Tequila.
Okay, all right.
About 10 to 15 ml of lime juice, depending if the lime juice is very strong or if it is not diluted, I would add under 10 ml. And there is a difference between lime and lemon. Do not go for the green limes. Try to go for the yellow lemons. It's always better. But if you feel that the lime is coming out to be very sour or bitter, dilute it with a bit of water, and that's absolutely fine. So normally, whenever you pick up the recipes, the lime juice that's mentioned on the recipe books, particularly in the cocktails, is usually the bigger limes, which are the Indonesian limes or the imported limes, which are basically the big lemons. So the juice is not as sour or as pucker. So feel free to dilute it in India. So I'm adding a little bit of lime juice, which is around 10 ml. Then coming back to our favorite ingredient, going through about 15 ml. So normally I try to keep any cocktail that you're making, you're always adding 2 or 3 different kinds of spirits or liquor. I try to keep it at between 60 to 90, because otherwise the drink goes really, really heavy and very, very strong. So 60 is probably the benchmark. So we've added about 45 ml of tequila. Now I'm adding about 15 ml of going through. So that brings the alcohol content of the drink to about 60 ml. Of lemon juice, again, mango juice. I'm adding about 15 ml. In order to get the flavors of the green chili, you could do 2 things. Either you could add the green chili by itself or chop it out if you really like the heavy stuff. Otherwise, you can just take the seeds out of the green chili, throw it in the drink, shake it up really, really well. You get the spices up, and then you can garnish it at the end as well.
Could you please mute your microphone?
Perfect. It's almost done. In case you want, you can add a little bit of salt. In fact, just to tell you the trick, of lately we tried a little bit of salt in our espresso martinis, and it came out really well. So in case you want to give it a little kick, you can actually add a bit of salt as well. Otherwise, let it be the way it is. And now, this is the small shaker, this is the big one. I give it a hard tap. It gets a vacuum under the base. All you do is pick it up, and you have to shake it hard, up and down, because there is no... There you go. Normally, there is a shaker side that's open and there is a shaker side that's closed. There is a vacuum in it. So all I do is I have to hold the glass from the top and give it a little push to make sure that that vacuum is getting open and it gets. There you go. And now our glass is ready.
Sorry, Ankur, you've been muted. Can you unmute yourself?
Good.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah. So I just put in this particular strainer on top. It fits really, really well. It's classic. And then you use the other strainer. Put it on top of the glass. 1 second. I'll just move the camera a little bit. There you go. Is it better? And then just take out the drink. There you go. Now, if you want, you can, as I said, you can use a little fancy salt, which looks really, really nice. You can add anything in terms of the garnish. Normally, I love the garnishes which are edible and they have some kind of logic. I don't like, let's say, a green chili on a drink which has got nothing to do with green chili. There you go. I've just taken out and slid the green chili right from the middle and kept it right on top. And there you have the second cocktail of the evening, which is a margarita flavored with a bit of chili and mango.
Great. Could you just recap what all you did and how you did that?
I used a bit of tequila. Which tequila? You can use any tequila that you want. Try to use the basic tequila because the flavors do not really come out as much. So a normal classic tequila would be good. So we've used tequila. We've used a little bit of 15 ml of cointreau. We've used almost 15 ml of mango juice. Almost 10 ml of lime juice, depending on the lime, as I mentioned. A bit of green chili. I've rimmed the glass with the salt, but I could have done that in the cocktail as well.
Great. Thank you. They look very similar, the margarita and the sangria. But I'm sure they taste very different.
Yeah, very different.
Well, we wish we could try that as well. Perhaps later on.
Very soon, very soon. Cheers, everyone. I'll just keep that on side. There you go. Okay, guys, any questions? You want to make it a little interactive, it's fine. Otherwise, I'll quickly hit to the third cocktail, which is a classic whiskey sour, but we're adding a hint of ginger to the same.
Anybody would like to ask any questions? Or shall we keep the questions till the end? Ankur, I think that might be better.
Absolutely fine with it. Cool, so we keep the question for the end. Let me just make the other shaker ready. Brilliant. Cool. So the third cocktail that you're making is something that I think a lot of us are a fan of, including me. It's a whiskey sour. It is a classic cocktail, from 200 plus minus years. But what we're doing, a little twist that we're doing over here is that these days whiskey and ginger ales are getting very popular. So I'm adding a hint of ginger ale to the regular whiskey sour. For the whiskey sour, you need a shaker. There you go. We would add, normally for a sour, I would add a bourbon whiskey. I could also use Jack Daniels, which is a Tennessee whiskey. But these days, people are experimenting with a lot of different styles of whiskeys. Of late, I tried a whiskey sour using a peated single malt, which also worked out really, really well. I had a bottle of Paul John. It's bold. It's also peated single malt from India itself. I love it myself, so I thought, why not try to make a peated whiskey sour with a hint of ginger ale? Yeah. Whiskey sour. I would add some ice in the shaker. Glass. Perfect. I've added some ice to the glass. I'll be putting almost 60 ml of whiskey. There you go. Lemon and sugar syrup is something that we'll put in equal proportions. So I'll keep it between 10-15, 10-15, both of them. There you go. These days, people are also using, alternates for sugar. You could use either honey water, or you could use, a lot of times we always complain that the wine goes bad after, after a few days. You could use the white wine, reduce it on a pan to almost 1/3. That could also be used as a sugar syrup, and it gives amazing flavors in a cocktail. So we've used lemon juice, we've used sugar syrup. Now, the reason whiskey sour becomes a sour or becomes that family of sour is because of the egg white. So I'm going to use almost 1 egg white, which is about 20 ml. I had taken out the egg white only, which you could do at your house. Perfect. That's about it. If in case you want to play around a little bit, you can add a little bit of bitters in the cocktail. Otherwise, normally as a garnish also they go really well. So just a couple of dashes is good enough with regards to the bitters. A lot of people do not want to add egg white, so pineapple juice comes handy to make it vegetarian. But perfect. No. There you go. Feel free to make it a little lesser. add a little bit of ginger ale to it, but it completely depends how do you prefer. In case you want to add a little bit of ginger flavor to it as well, you can use fresh ginger, muddle it a little bit and throw it in. In terms of the garnish, I normally use an orange rind. All you have to do is just squeeze a little bit or twirl a little bit. The oils come out. Put it on the rings as well. And that becomes a good cocktail. Cheers.
Cheers indeed.
Perfect.
Great. So there are three very different types of cocktails. Viewers, do you have any questions? Would you like to ask any questions?
Let me forewarn you, Ankur, in case there are no questions and because your explanation was so clear, and we still have time, maybe you can do one with the vodka, because I saw somebody saying that, can you do a cocktail with vodka?
So Ankur, just a very quick question.
We discussed about Kapiroshka. Is that possible? Do you have the ingredients for that?
We do not have the brown sugars and stuff. No, so Kapiroshka might not be possible. In case you want to make something with vodka, we can all pitch in, discuss ingredients and make one.
Yeah, anything. Okay, I think Mr. Vivek Gupta seems to have a question.
Yeah, Ankur, just a quick question. How do you source these bitters that you have added?
Smuggling, sir. There's no other way.
No, but at least show us the bottle so that.
Oh yeah, sure. No. See, I'll tell you very frankly. I'll tell you very honestly as well. The problem is that bitters normally have about a little bit of alcohol. It's normally under 4 to 5%. So technically they come under the alcohol category. But if you really ask me, business point of view or commercially, it doesn't make sense to import bitters in India. So normally you will get that in an INA shop, in a fancy food hall kind of shop as well. So, but yeah, there is no other way out.
But you can't make it in your house.
Oh, you can, but again, it's a long process. Normally, you would. So bitters is nothing else, but it's got the chinkuna or the barks. The bark of the tree is actually what gives the flavor to the bitter as a base, and then you can add whatever on the bitters. So what I normally do is, whenever I'm traveling, I buy these kind of kits, which gives me array of flavor.
Angustra bitters are available in Modern Bazaar. Angustra bitters available in Modern Bazaar.
That's right.
Thank you. Thanks for the information.
Thank you.
Was that Lalit Malhotra who said that?
Yes. Yeah. We need a local Vasant Vihar person to guide us where to get ingredients.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr.
Right, Lalit. Yes.
Yeah. So these are all the bitters. Normally, what I do is whenever I'm traveling, I try to pick up the bitters because it's less amount of alcohol. And I can get many more varieties. But as he just mentioned, Angustra is very good. It's available.
So just one quick one, last one. When you are traveling out of country, like out of India, where do you buy these bitters?
Oh, lot of places, sir. Lot of places. Particularly if you go to the United States, there are shops dedicated just to the bitters. But normally bitters are available in a lot of local shops across the country as well. Normally in a lot of countries, the bitters are available.
So you would be buying it in a
supermarket,
in a mall, or in a supermarket? Where exactly?
In a supermarket, you can easily, in a grocery store, you can easily find it. Otherwise, there are a lot of these websites where you can, get them shipped to India as well nowadays. So there are a couple of friends who tried it and they could get it.
Understood. Thank you so much, Ankur.
Hi, Ankur. I have one question related to the whiskey sour that you made.
Sure.
So in most of the whiskey sours that I have had, there are two variants, one with egg, one without egg. You chose to make the one without egg. So just want to understand it from a technical perspective. A, what's the difference between the two? And secondly, how does it impact the taste of the drink?
So the one with egg, it's always egg white, which is what we also made. normally does not give a lot of flavor to it, but adds a lot of frothiness or viscosity to the drink or heaviness to the drink. So it makes the drink much more heavier on the palate. So that's a whiskey. That's what a whiskey sour or any sour is supposed to be. When it comes to non-egg, there are two options in non-egg. One is, of course, the pineapple juice, which gives a little more sweetness. So whenever I'm making a drink without an egg in a whiskey sour, I try to reduce the amount of sugar and I add pineapple juice instead, so that the sweetness is sort of balanced out. I personally love whiskey sour with an egg. I always say that either have a whiskey sour with egg or you do not have it. With all due respect, that's my personal thing. The second option that is becoming very popular in the mixology world right now is that similarly, like the way you have these bitters, you have droplets coming out. So these drops add the frothiness to the drink, and these drops are completely vegetarian, which are made with agar-agar or gluten, which is also vegetarian as a base, which is basically the root. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you. And I also wanted to make a comment on the availability of bitters. So I think even in Vasant Vihar, Modern Bazaar is one shop where we can find this.
Amazing. I know the people behind Modern Bazaar. I'll make sure that I thank them.
I think it's available at INA as well. So
I get, yeah, normally.
So,
no smuggling required. Leave that to Modern Bazaar.
Perfect. They are all
any more questions?
Small question, Ankur, can I ask?
Sure, please go ahead.
Can I ask you a small question, Ankur?
There's an echo from your mic, Mr. Gupta. Just maybe.
Okay, can I ask a question? Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
I just wanted to find out, Ankur, what did you do in the rim of the glass so that you could stick the salt all around?
Oh, yeah, that was one of the questions he put here. Okay.
Mr.
Gupta would like to know, what do you put on the rim of the glass to make the salt stick?
I will do that once again for you. 1 second. So for example, if I have this glass, all I do is I take a lemon and I make a wedge out of it, and I put it and I make this a little wet on the rim.
Okay.
There you go. And then, 1 second. And then I have this plate. Is it visible?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And all I do is I put it right over here, something like this.
Thank you, Ankur. Thank you.
Stuff comes out, and there you have beautiful rim. As I said, try to play around with the salts, as much salts as you can. From a truffle oil salt to a amchur at your house, the world is there to play around.
Okay.
Ankur, some cocktail with gin, if you can suggest.
I have a beautiful gin. This is what I picked up from Finland. We can definitely make one if you want. We have orange slices, we have chili, we have egg white is not required. I have got a tonic water as well. I think I've got a mint tonic water and I've got a spiced grapefruit. So we could make a spiced grapefruit gin and tonic.
Do you get flavored tonic water now in India?
Yeah, a lot of them. In fact,
I do. I think it's called Indian Sepoy. Indian Sepoy brand has that.
Okay.
I'm also using Sepoy right now.
Yeah.
So Sepoy & Co. You can use Jade Forest, regular tonic water and ginger ale. Swami has got a decent selection right now. Swami tonic waters have got a decent selection. Imported one includes a Fever Tree, and there is another one named as Taste Britain, which has got an elderflower tonic water, which is really, really good.
Thank you for that. So viewers,
gin and tonic?
You can have a flavored gin and tonic with just adding flavored tonic to your drink.
1 second, I'll just come back. I should grab the tonic water if I see. Oh,
I can see one member out here, Shriti Agarwal, who seems to have just finished making a very exotic cocktail. Shriti, can you once again show the cocktail that you're having?
Perfect.
Carry on, Ankur. Ankur, carry on.
So I am gonna use, so I've got this gin. I've got this another gin as well, whichever we can. I think we'll just use this one. Also, just to give you a little this thing, this is what I collected of lately. Nowadays, gin tonics are also coming straight up in the cans. So this is Franklin and Sons doing a tie-up with a gin company named as Karoon, and you can just open the can and have a gin and tonic. In India, it's going to take some time, I'm sure. One second. There you go. I'm just taking out a bit more of ice.
While you're doing that, you know, you've made all your cocktails and drinks in different glasses. What does having different glasses do to the drink?
No, glasses is very important. In fact, I'll tell you, I'm into wines a bit as well. Off lately, we did the blind tasting. So this man came and he was an Austrian. He came to us and he said that I'm going to make you taste 5 different wines, and we were a bunch of about 18 sommeliers from India itself, and we tasted 5 different wines in 5 different glasses, and everybody was sort of writing their notes and making their rankings and stuff like that in a very fancy way, as the sommeliers try to show. So I think 90% of the answers came exactly the same. So glass number 3, the wine in glass number 3 was the topmost for almost 80 or 90% of us. And later he told that these were 5 different glasses with the same wine. And we were shocked because just because of the glass of the wine, the glass of the shape of the glass, the wine was very different. So I always say that, of course, invest in your liquid, but investing in glass is as important. Coming back to the gin and tonic from the Gyan session. There you go. That's a gin from Finland. I am also trying it for the first time. I'm adding about 60 ml of gin. There you go. So whenever I'm making a gin and tonic, I don't want to keep it very simple and this thing. Try to use flavor tonic waters. Try to use, there are a lot of these spices and mixers which are coming these days. But I love adding a little bit of lime juice to the same as well, which gives a sort of kick to the entire gin and tonic. I'm going to use the Sepoy & Co. I'm using spiced grapefruit tonics. There you go. Perfect. Keep that aside. And to make it look a little fancy, I do not have a grapefruit. But I definitely have a couple of slices of orange, which I cut for some reason. Since it is a spiced grapefruit, what you could also do in terms of the garnish is that you could just add a stick of cinnamon, which also would look very nice and will go really well with the drink, purely because it's spice and grapefruit in the tonic. Yeah, I think that's what we could do right now with the garnish. Cheers to the gin and tonic evening.
Thank you. That looks like another cool drink. Perfect for the really hot summer which we are going through experiencing right now. So thank you for that, Ankur. Viewers, would you like to ask any more questions?
Before you go ahead, I'm going to do a little bit of shameless act. That's a new water that we have introduced. It's known as responsible water. This is the first time a natural spring water has come in a can. Feel free to grab one very soon at Modern Bazaar near you.
Thank you very much and wish you all the very best with.
Thank you.
Just one question, Ankur, with the cinnamon stick or cinnamon powder?
Cinnamon stick is what I would want to do over here. In this kind of drink, I would use a cinnamon powder. In this kind of drink, where you have the froth, I'll tell you another beautiful and easy way to do something really, really cool and sexy. When you have a lot of froth on top of the glass, you can put a napkin, a paper or something like that on top of the glass to just kind of cover it. So for instance, I might cover the glass like this, half with a tissue paper and throw cinnamon powder on top. So what happens is, as I remove it, half the glass is got cinnamon powder and half is completely with a white froth. It looks beautiful.
Sounds great.
Small tricks.
Cinnamon, I mean, can you give us an idea of exactly how much cinnamon, not the whole stick, so approximately how much?
Just
when you are speaking, it would be nice if you could switch on the video. It's always nice to see who's asking the question.
Okay. So normally as I said, I love doing garnishes which have some logic or sense in the glass, and there are some things that are going, and it has to be, edible, so that those umbrellas and everything is something that I do not like personally. So since we use a spiced grapefruit tonic, I would add a cinnamon stick to give that look of spice. Even if I do not have a cinnamon stick, just a star anise on top of it would be just lovely. So.
So the drink actually gets flavored by just that stick being there without it being.
Times, the first thing that you're doing with the drink, it's all about playing with the senses, right? Of lately, we tried this. I don't know if it will work out or not. We made a cucumber martini, and as and when the drink went to the table, we sprayed a little bit of cucumber perfume, edible cucumber perfumed around it. So before you could even touch the drink, you started smelling cucumber, and that's how the experience started. So similarly, I'm just trying to touch all the senses. So one small star anise on top of the drink is not going to add a lot of flavor because spices take time to infuse the flavor. But when, as a guest or as a consumer, I'm touching the glass, I know what to expect in the glass. So it's majorly playing with the senses, not really adding the flavor with the cucumber or the star anise or the cinnamon stick right now.
Okay, thank you for that. Any questions, viewers? Or as Raj said, Vivek, Ankur has been able to tell us everything very well, so there are no questions.
Please, guys, feel free.
Any questions? No. Okay, but I still have a question.
Please.
You talked about salt in your margarita. So why do you think a pinch of salt makes the difference? Adding that little pinch.
I'll tell you, the eureka moment came to me when I tried this salt with the espresso martini. Like espresso martini is a sweetish sort of drink, and you don't really expect salt in it. And one of my friends working in Singapore as a bartender told me to just add it. It just accentuates a lot of flavors. And remember a Bloody Mary that you had last time with the salt rim? Without a salt rim, of course, Bloody Mary is good. But with the salt rim, it just, sort of opens up the flavors a lot more. So, and as I said, these days, just to give you another fact, a friend's friend of mine is working in Maldives. His job title is salt sommelier, which was sort of weird to me. And he basically goes to every table, takes the order, and gives a little recommendation on what kind of salt will go better with your fish. And they had almost, I think, about 106 different flavored salts that they make in house. So why not? I mean, it just adds another great amount of flavor to the drink, and it gives you that sort of kick. So salts do play a lot of good role. I know there are side effects. A lot of people say salt and sugar is no, but well.
So Ankur, thank you very much for an absolutely fabulous session. We understand now why you are one of the top mixologists of the country. Perhaps we will have you tell us more about wines at some point during sessions, because that is again something I'm sure the viewers will appreciate and enjoy. On behalf of the Vasant Vihar Club, I would like to thank you. I would also like to thank Mohit and Deepika. Deepika, we didn't see you. Could you just switch on your camera and say hello to us? It'd be nice to see you. Deepika Mohil is the Assistant Vice President Sales, and she helped in organizing this evening along with Mohit Balachandran. And I'm very happy to announce to members that especially for Vasant Vihar Club members, Eazydiner Prime have offered a special membership where they are giving 3 months of free membership to members when they enroll. I'll be sharing the link of that with you shortly or perhaps tomorrow, along with what Ankur has, the list of ingredients which Ankur used for his cocktails. So please take up this offer. It's a great offer. It's a 3 months free Eazydiner Prime membership. So I hope you make good use of it. I know the restaurants are still closed, but as Mohit said, you can use delivery as well. So there you go.
Also, to give you a little spoiler, Mr. Mohit is actually, he's a very silent man. Otherwise, he looks very decent. He's an encyclopedia himself. I mean, if you start the topic with him, he can go for an hour for a small little topic that you would be like, okay, cool, I know about it. Like when you stand with Mr. Mohit and start the topic, then you feel how much you don't know about the topic.
So, hi Deepika, I can finally see you. Thank you very much.
Your pleasure.
I think we will engage Mohit face to face once the club opens. Maybe we can, discuss some topic, at least to start with, related to food and beverage.
Sure.
Would you like to add to the announcement we've just done, courtesy you, about the 3-month membership for the viewers? If you could tell us a bit more about that. Can you hear me, Mohit?
Yeah, I can hear you. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
So the 3 months membership is free for everyone. We'll give a special link to everyone that Sanjana will send you. And then you click on that, you can download the Eazydiner app and register yourself for that. You will need to do a rupee 2 transaction on through your credit card to register, and the 3 months is free. You can see all the restaurants that are there as part of the Prime program and all the deals. As I said earlier, that not all of them would reflect right now because a lot of the restaurants and hotels are closed, but they would come, more and more restaurants across India are opening up. And in a month and a half, I think the restaurant should get back to normal with all the social distancing and safety rules. So,
Thank you so much for that, Mohit.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yeah. Could we request Anil Bhargav, he's the Vice President Development of the club, to say a few words?
Well, thank you all. But first of all, Ankur, thanks a lot for taking us through this journey, but limited to 4 cocktails. Next time, as my colleagues were saying, that we would definitely like to have you over in the physical form to take us through some real cocktail making. But I would like to add here that normally the contents are just starters, but most of the good cocktail making comes from experience of individual persons, whether he's a trained bartender or guys like us who try to play with the drinks at home. Would you agree with that?
Practice and perform, sir. There's nothing better than that. That is the reason I try to practice every day and drink a little bit.
Okay.
So thanks a lot, Ankur, and thanks Mohit and his colleague Deepika. Thank you very much, Eazydiners, for sponsoring this, and please enjoy your cocktails. Thanks.
I will close the evening by just reading one comment from L.K. Malhotra. He says, "Thank you, Ankur, for raising our spirits during the lockdown. God bless you."
Absolutely.
Yeah, bless you.
Before everyone leaves the thing, do you want to announce some of the forthcoming sessions in our Zoom series? I mean, one I already announced in the beginning, which is our that on Sunday to commemorate the World Yoga Day, we would have a session from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Sunday. But on Tuesday, we have another book discussion coming up, and This is an interesting compilation of anecdotes from a former taxman. So nothing to do with income tax, but he regales us with some of the income tax raids that he conducted during his career and some interesting anecdotes related to that. And then on Wednesday, we have what? A dance session or what is
Yeah, we have a dance performance by Dakshina Vaidyanathan. She'll be it's a dance plus a talk about what Bharatanatyam dancing is all about. So we look forward to seeing you all on Tuesday, first on Sunday and then next week during the ZoomIN series. So thank you very much. Have a lovely evening. Enjoy the cocktails and do remember to post your photos on WhatsApp or you can send it to us by email as well. And then we'll share that with Eazydiner. So thank you very much and have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much for having me over. Cheers, guys.
Bye. Good night.
Bye-bye.